right now on 5 on your side at 10.
The countdown to cold is on. The transition happening this weekend that brings the first widespread freeze to the bi-state.
Tonight, dining out for Israel, the local restaurant going kosher and bringing local leaders together. Plus tonight, a deadly fire at an apartment complex for the elderly.
I don't have any clothes or anything because they just pulled me out.
The neighbors that jumped in to help emergency responders.
We start with breaking news tonight. At least 22 people are dead. Up to 60 others are hurt after a mass shooting in Lewiston, Maine.
The New England city is located about 2 hours north of Boston. We are awaiting another update from police any minute now, but here is what we know. Right now, the gunman is not, I repeat, not in custody. Police have identified a suspect, but have not released a name. They do say he is well acquainted with firearms. Photos show him entering a bowling alley armed with a rifle. There are also victims at a bar about 4 miles away and at a distribution center. People in the city are ordered to shelter in place. Again, latest numbers, 22 people are dead. That number is expected to rise. At least 60 more are hurt after a mass shooting event in Lewiston, Maine. That's about 30 miles north of Portland.
Also breaking tonight, a breakthrough in the nearly 6-week-old labor strike against the 3 major U.S. automakers. Just a couple of hours ago, the United Auto Workers announced a tentative contract agreement with Ford. It includes a 25% pay increase, reinstatement of cost of living raises, and other enhanced benefits. The deal still needs to be approved by the union members. This does not include General Motors, which has several thousand workers on strike right now in Wentzville. But analysts say the Ford deal could lay the groundwork for agreements with GM and Stellantis. Developing tonight, one person is dead after a fire broke out inside of a Metro East apartment complex.
Dozens of residents had to be rescued from the Touche elderly apartments in Cahokia Heights this afternoon. Our Brent Sullivan is live tonight where those residents are not able to return to their homes. Brent.
Mike, that's due to the water and smoke damage inside of that elderly community. I can tell you that city officials have arranged for some 75 residents to come here to the town's gym for shelter. This, as I'm learning, once that fire broke out, it was all hands on deck. Just before 3 Wednesday afternoon, firefighters getting the call that senior citizens at the Touche elderly apartments were trapped in their homes.
And the paramedics came and they just pulled me out of bed.
77-year-old Del Marie Smith here when the fire broke out on the 2nd floor.
I couldn't get up and get out. I said, I better not let the smoke in.
Camp Jackson's assistant fire chief, the first on scene. She wasted no time.
She went to work trying to pull several out, which she did.
That's when police officers, EMS workers, and a maintenance worker here all joined in to get residents out.
Some were bedridden. Some, as soon as they came out in the hallway, you know, the smoke hit them, and we had to hurry up and drag them down the steps to safety and that.
And they told them, you all better get up there to 216 and get Miss Del Marie.
She was able to call her daughter to tell her what was happening.
I got the call. She said they were evacuated, and my heart dropped.
Everyone able to escape the building. 4 people treated on scene. Firefighters say the woman whose unit the fire started in went into cardiac arrest outside. She didn't make it.
The fire was contained to that bedroom, or that room, that apartment. Just smoke throughout, and that's what hampered the rescue efforts.
She was my little buddy. She ran errands for me, but she was a sweet little baby.
And that maintenance worker was taken to the hospital with minor injuries earlier today. Tonight, no word on how that fire started. The Illinois Fire Marshal and local investigators working together to figure that out tonight. We're live in Cahokia Heights. Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
It's been nearly a month since city leaders shut down a controversial homeless encampment outside St. Louis City Hall. Now dozens of homeless are living in new encampments. Robert Townsend is live tonight at 1 near 14th and Market. Robert.
Hey, Mark, let me tell you this new homeless encampment is definitely in a familiar space to a lot of folks. Back there on the grounds of the old municipal courts building, yeah, right next door to City Hall. And this isn't the only one raising eyebrows. It's been nearly 1 month to the day since Mayor Tashara Jones and her team shut down this homeless encampment outside their offices at St. Louis City Hall. The city cleared out a trail of tents from the front lawn and says it moved several dozen homeless people into shelters or its tiny houses temporary living community.
I'd say 75% of the people did not go to their shelters.
Longtime homeless advocate Reverend Larry Rice says many of those unhoused men and women just moved a few feet away and set up new tents here.
People want some control over their life. They want to be able to go and come from a tent. They want to be able to feel like they're able to actually live a life.
I'm staying here because I want to help others.
For the past 5 months, Angel and James Shorter and their dogs have lived in a tent at this encampment near the riverfront. Right now, about 40 people are living in more than 24 tents here.
Why won't you go to a shelter?
Because I want to help them on the streets.
About a mile away, another homeless encampment in the heart of historic Laclede's Landing. The city shut down one here last March, but neighbors say within a week, this one popped up, and so did drug use, threats against them, and other violence. Jan Sandwise, the owner of this historic building and president of the Laclede's Landing Neighborhood Association, says they had to hire extra security due to homeless-related problems.
Yeah, there's bad eggs in every bunch, ain't there? I mean, you know, why condemn or whatever the ones that are just trying to live?
Now, in a statement, Nick Dunn, a mayor's spokesperson, says the administration will continue to engage with downtown and Laclede's Landing residents to work collaboratively on solutions. Dunn tells us we continue to encourage those whose safety is threatened to contact 911. And back here live, you can see barricades are still around Pelker Park and City Hall. Now, that's because city workers are still residing these grounds 1 month later. Live downtown, Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Tonight, a new St. Louis hotel is the latest victim of downtown car break-ins. Over the past 4 days, more than 24 cars were broken into outside of the 21C Museum Hotel that's on Locust Street. The general manager tells us they're offering $45 refunds to guests who were impacted. The hotel is also reviewing protocols and stepping up internal safety measures to keep customers safe.
Tonight, Israeli air attacks continue over Gaza in response to the deadly attack by Hamas earlier this month. Both the death toll and the humanitarian crisis is growing. The UN says the Gaza Strip is on the verge of running out of fuel. Just hours after choosing a new House Speaker, the U.S. House of Representatives overwhelmingly passed a resolution tonight in support of Israel. The measure is symbolic, but could show how members will vote for funding for the war-torn country. 10 members of Congress voted against it, including Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush. In a statement, she says, quote, "I voted against this one-sided resolution, which explicitly and intentionally fails to mourn Palestinians while simultaneously greenlighting more death and violence."
Free, free Palestine!
Dozens of students at Washington University walked out of class today in support of Palestine. It was part of a nationwide student protest condemning Israel's attack on Gaza.
And tonight, going kosher for a cause.
Novellus, that's on Main Street in St. Charles, sold out 2 dinners for a fundraiser for Israel. Our Laura Barczewski shows us what went into putting on this special event.
Alrighty, everyone, I've got the salmon. Co-owner of Novellus restaurant, Brett Affolder, says he and his dad felt called to help families in Israel after watching the terrible Hamas attacks that started just weeks ago.
He's had quite a few friends that were from the Jewish faith that have done a lot to really help him in his life. And he thought, how can I do something?
So for one special night, Novellus staff flipped their menu and their kitchen upside down to serve a kosher dinner to benefit Israel.
People are really hurting, and us coming together, besides for sending a message of support, of love, of care, we are also feeding people in Israel, and we're letting them know that they're not alone.
Ahead of this special event, Novellus actually had to shut down for 2 days to prepare their kitchen so they could serve kosher foods for 2 entire dinners.
When it comes to ingredients, you have the meat. The meat is from specific animals that are kosher, and then how it's prepared, has to be kosher.
Affolter says both dinners sold out in 2 hours.
It gives me goosebumps to realize how many people are out there that don't know how to help but really want to help. It's a community effort.
Rabbi Chaim Lenda says the love that started at the dinner table in St. Charles is already making its way across the ocean to Israel.
And there's a lot of hate and there's a lot of darkness out there, but we have the power to create change, positive change, and a little bit of light expels a lot of darkness.
Reporting in St. Charles, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
The restaurant owners matched all of the donations made tonight up to $50,000 to help feed displaced Israeli families.
New information tonight on a lawsuit blaming Panera for a college student's death. The scrutiny the St. Louis brand could now be facing from the feds. Rising costs could keep holiday travelers grounded this year.
77% of holiday travelers are making adjustments, but they don't want to skip the trip entirely.
Tonight, going home for the holidays while making ends meet.
Early next week, we'll feel more like December than the end of October. Why that transition should bring many of us beneficial rain.
Tomorrow night on 5 on your side at 10, our I-Team investigates pharmacy benefits managers. Independent pharmacists say they're being pushed out of business by the so-called insurance middlemen. And you could end up paying big if it happens.
The predictions are that 30% of the independent pharmacies are going to be gone by the end of next year if things don't change.
Their push for fairer prices and more access to the prescriptions that save your life. That's tomorrow night at 10. We continue to follow breaking news out of Lewiston, Maine. Police still searching for an active shooter tonight. At least 22 people are dead, dozens more injured when police say a shooter opened fire in multiple locations, including a bowling alley and a bar. Police have identified a person of interest in the shooting. They say Robert Card is trained in firearms and should be considered armed and dangerous. People are being told to lock their doors and stay inside. As we mentioned earlier, Lewiston is about 30 miles north of Portland.
Tonight, the FDA says it's looking into the death of an Ivy League student who died after drinking a charged lemonade she bought from Panera. The parents of Sarah Katz filed a wrongful death lawsuit this week against the St. Louis-based restaurant chain. They say the University of Pennsylvania student had an underlying heart condition and avoided energy drinks. They're claiming Panera failed to disclose the amount of caffeine in the charged lemonades. And according to the lawsuit, the large size she drank has more caffeine than a can of Red Bull and a Monster energy drink combined.
It becomes something different than just a caffeinated drink. It becomes a dangerous, toxic energy drink. And that's really what the issue is here.
Panera has not responded to the FDA investigation, but says it strongly believes in the transparency of its ingredients.
The largest office building in the state is now headed to the auction block. The former AT&T tower has sat vacant since 2017. It will go up for auction in December with a starting bid of $2.5 million. Earlier this year, a developer announced a $300 million plan to convert the 44-story skyscraper into a vertical city that includes apartments, hotel rooms, office space, and retail. According to our partners at the St. Louis Business Journal, those plans remain attached to this building. Inflation woes may force many of us to rethink our holiday travel plans.
Some people even may consider traveling by car instead of plane. Michelle Lee offers some money-saving tips in tonight's Making Ends Meet.
The holidays are quickly approaching, and experts predict it will be the busiest travel season since 2019. But with higher prices for gas, flights, and hotels, a new survey from Bankrate found most travelers are looking for ways to save on their trip.
Thanks to inflation, 'tis the season for holidays on a budget.
77% of holiday travelers are making adjustments, but they don't want to skip the trip entirely. They're willing to drive instead of fly. They're willing to stay in cheaper accommodations or pick cheaper activities.
If you're planning to fly to visit family, right now is the time to get a bargain. Domestic flights are usually cheapest 6 to 8 weeks before departure, so if you haven't booked that flight for Thanksgiving or Christmas, get a move on. International flights, you want to plan even further out if possible. You may also find deals if you have flexible travel days.
Could you go earlier? Could you stay later? If you're willing to fly the morning of Thanksgiving, that actually might be a big cost savings opportunity. And hopefully you still get there in time for the family dinner.
Another concern for travelers trying to make ends meet, flight delays and cancellations.
I spent the night here at the airport. They offered nothing.
I did brush my teeth once in the last 4 days, but other than that, I mean, I'm at a low point. I'm like using lady speed stick in the airport.
This after Southwest canceled more than 16,000 flights at Lambert Airport and across the country last holiday season. If you can book with a credit card that has strong travel insurance protections, do it.
A lot of cards will include these at no added cost, and they help with everything from damaged rental cars to canceled or delayed flights, lost or delayed luggage.
Airlines are not legally obligated to compensate you, but most credit cards will. So always ask your credit card company to reimburse for the hotel, the rental car, maybe even meals and essentials if you get stranded. It's about making the most of the holidays and not breaking the bank.
All right, now the travel hack airlines don't want you to know about. If you've already booked your ticket with prices close to their lowest point in 18 months, you can actually ask for a rebate if the price has gone down since you booked. Now, it does depend on the airline and the kind of ticket you booked, but even if you can't get cash back, it is always worth asking. A lot of airlines will give you travel vouchers for that difference. This repricing trick works for hotels as well, so check back in on those advanced bookings. And for a list of each airline's voucher and refund policies, you can go to DOT's website, flightrights.gov. For Making Ends Meet, I'm Michelle Lee.
I had no idea you could get a rebate if a flight price dropped. That is a great piece of information. Let's get to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell with the weather first forecast. All the warm weather lovers like me, Scott, need to accept the harsh reality that is coming.
Oh, this is pretty harsh, isn't it? Talk about dropping. Price drops. How about temperature drops? That's a 30-degree temperature drop from Friday's high of 84 to Saturday's high of 54. Okay, so we have 2 more warm days, and then next week, the coldest air that we've seen in quite some time, and our first widespread freeze on the way. So we go into Monday morning, Sunday night and Monday morning. A freeze is possible, especially west of St. Louis, but odds are it's going to be breezy. There's still some clouds. We're just above freezing in St. Louis, but all areas should be below freezing on Tuesday morning, around 30 in town. Outlying areas, though, down into the 20s as we head towards Tuesday morning. Contrast that with right now, it is 69 degrees in St. Louis, dew point's 58, so that's a little muggy, especially for this time of year. 79 was our high, 65 was the low this morning. That's our average high temperature for this time of year. And we picked up 0.2 of an inch of rain this evening, bringing the total for the day to 28 hundredths at Lambert. We're staying in the 60s tonight. We start very warm tomorrow morning, mainly quiet overnight tonight. We're waiting on the next batch of moisture. Showers, thunderstorms lining up back here across parts of Oklahoma and Texas. This is our rain for tomorrow. It will move northeast, gets into St. Louis during the mid to late morning hours. Cold air is not coming in until Friday night into Saturday. Right now, it's working its way out of Alaska in through Canada and heading into the Pacific Northwest. So here we go into tomorrow. We should start with just mainly mostly cloudy skies, very mild, 60s, close to 70 degrees by mid-morning. As we go towards 11, 12 o'clock, our chances for showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder on the increase. That'll take us through mid-afternoon. Most of the showers and rumbles of thunder shift east and south of St. Louis later during the evening hours on Thursday. Friday, there's your cold front. There's not a lot of rain around for us on Friday, but the cold front's coming our way. It slides through late Friday afternoon. We should be okay for the high school football games in most cases Friday night, but temperatures will be dropping during the evening as the winds pick up and become a little gusty, turning towards the northwest. Then we go into the weekend. Here comes the big surge of rain. It's later on Saturday and especially into Saturday night into Sunday. Heaviest will be south and southeast of St. Louis. Some areas, especially southeast of town, 1 to 2 inches. Most areas, a good ½ an inch to an inch or more. Again, locally, depending on how those bands set up, but badly needed rainfall. What's maybe not so badly needed, those cold temperatures, although we're right on target with getting that first freeze around the 1st of November, the very end of October. The good news that we have, even though it's a cold Halloween, at least it's going to be dry.
That is true.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Wingo, Tatum, City SC. It's a sportscast for the stars. Stick around. We'll be right back.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer 10 years running.
Ryan Wingo had a chance to be the next Luther Burden at Mizzou, adored by the home state fans and making some crazy name, image, and likeness money. Seems like a pretty good deal. However, today, the SLU 5-star receiver chose a different deal.
Texas.
He got a lot of love from his brother Ronnie after that announcement. Mizzou fans watching this had to be devastated. The 5-star receiver at St. Louis U High chose Texas, a fine school with a Manning at quarterback and a very healthy name, image, and likeness collective. And when did you make this decision?
I kind of had this decision in my head for a while. A lot of people, it was down to Missouri and Texas for sure. It was a hard decision to pick Texas over Missouri, knowing it's close to home, be able to go play. But I had to do what's best for me.
He made the decision he thought was right. But are you aware that there could be ramifications? People locally, they're going to be really ticked off, and we know how crazy college fans can be.
Signing day, December the 20th. You never know what can happen.
I don't know what to make of that. So how does this name, image, and likeness work with a 5-star recruit like Wingo? Well, you need somebody representing your interest. For Ryan, it's local businessman Jim Sansone.
They were involved in every step of the process. So if I would have a conversation with one school or another, I would report that back to the Wingo family through Mr. Wingo.
Be sure to be with us at 5 o'clock on Sunday for our expanded City SC playoff coverage. We will break it down with some of the stars on the roster. Corey Miller will be there live for Sports Plus also. The question is, who will they be playing? Patrick Mahomes on hand tonight to watch Sporting KC host the Earthquakes of San Jose. The winner gets City SC. Right now, they're scoreless in the second half. A really cool event today at City Park. Those passionate fans in the large supporters section of the stadium got an invite on the field to watch the top seed in the West practice. This is what you call connecting with your fan base. It's what Ann Allred often does on Market Street and just waves to her adoring fans, both of them.
All the supporter groups that are out there, it's the heartbeat of the club. And it's nice to see that the club has such a close relationship to them. And it keeps us closer. It allows us to feel like it's ours, which, other professional sports, I don't know if you get that as much, or maybe I'm just not familiar with it.
Love this story. Legendary basketball coach Floyd Irons cutting the ribbon at the Youth Family Center off Cass Avenue. They have unveiled a new gym for kids in the city to enjoy and improve their skills. The Missouri Athletic Club and community partners raised over $170 grand to make this a very special place.
Got that kind of new house smell. I think, it just pops. The walls are bright, the floor is bright, and Dr. Crenshaw has said they've seen their participation triple so far on the weekends.
The whole project was, if we build it, they will come, and absolutely that is what has happened. All of our partners that have come in, from the Missouri Athletic Club to First Midtrust Bank, all the way to the Hellenic Foundation.
Awesome story. Hey, nobody wanted to win more than Dusty Baker. You can confirm that with Tony La Russa. The 74-year-old is retiring. What a career, which started in 1968. He played with Aaron, managed Bonds, 19 seasons as a player, and nearly 2,200 wins as a manager. His next stop is Cooperstown, New York, and the Hall of Fame. Jason Tatum in the Garden. That's Robert Kraft, John McEnroe, and Bill Bradley. Talk about star power in one four-shot. Hey, Jason was wheeling and dealing, too. 2 of his 34 points. And he has another star this year, Kristaps Porzingis. He popped in 30. Celtics roll 108 to 104. And that will do it in sports.
All right, Frank, thanks.
Modelo replaced Bud Light as America's favorite beer. Now AB is punching back. Bud Light's hoping to deliver a knockout punch with its new partnership deal. The Anheuser-Busch brand is replacing Modelo as the official beer of the UFC. Modelo dethroned Bud Light as America's best-selling beer this summer. It came after months of falling sales amid a backlash over its social media partnership with a transgender influencer.
Okay, we want you to meet Taylor Swiftkin. This is the same homeowner in Ohio who brought us the giant Ted Lasso pumpkin 2 years ago. He has now decorated a 399-pound gourd in the likeness of the pop star. There's even a football-shaped pumpkin. That's in honor of T. Swift's budding romance with, Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce.
You just can't get away from the two of them.
Even on somebody's front porch.
There you go. I had a friend of mine, he was forced to go to the Taylor Swift movie with his 3 small girls.
He was forced to go?
He was forced to go with his three small girls. He said he was trying to watch the Chiefs game and not the Taylor Swift movie. And he just kept seeing Taylor Swift anyway. Yeah.
She's everywhere. There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show is next.
Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.